Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
Well, hello. What's happening? Welcome to The Lock Shop. Brought to you by Play Alberta. Sign up for an account today. Download the Play Alberta app. They are the title sponsor of Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you very much for being here. And a huge shout out to Play Alberta for partnering with us and what we're building over here at EST. Make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app with hundreds of player prop bets on the biggest leagues. NFL, CFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it. You're not just playing for fun. You're supporting the province. Play Alberta revenue helps fund Alberta programs and services. Deposit today with the promo code YAG50 or EST Sports. Deposit $50, get a $50 free bet. They've also rolled out improved odds for all North American major leagues this year, including the National Football League. Lots of usability improvements on the sportsbook with easier access to promotions, and it's all more convenient than ever with the new and improved Play Alberta app. We're going to bring in Huss here momentarily, but you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We'll get to a few of those text messages. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Maverick was first in today, followed by Lars and then Box Pounder, and everybody else continues to roll in over there. We're going to recap the Monday Nighter. The Bears suck for 3/4 of the game. The Vikings suck for 3/4 of the game, but the Vikings' one good quarter was better than the Bears' one good quarter. So we'll dive into that. Our EST specials page just starting to be populated for today. We do have the early bird bet that is up and waiting for you right now. Pretty good number considering the Jays are a favorite and Springer to get a hit was like -2 something. We've got Blue Jays to win and George Springer with a hit or more. Bang out 4, I don't care. But Springer with a hit, Jays to win, +145, which is a pretty good number. So if you want to ride on the Jays tonight, if the Jays are going to win this game, there's probably a Springer hit in there. So a Georgie hit, Blue Jays money line, +145 with the Beebs on the bump for the Blue Jays today. We are going to, let me lay this out for you. We're going to look at the Monday Nighter. We are going to take an early look at some week 2 lines. I've got some fantasy waiver wire targets. If you have any fantasy football questions, this is the show to get them in. All right, so hit us up, 780-218-9999. Or if you're watching over on YouTube, feel free to fire out your fantasy questions there as well. We'll go waiver wire targets. The Stampeders lose a Rimolade. We'll try to dive into that. Blue Jays, of course, as well. Let's bring in Huss from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Minnesota Vikings, my man, it was not pretty. Fourth quarter was pretty. The game was not pretty, but the Vikings, good teams find a way, and they managed to get it done last night.
That was fun. It
was a great finish to that football game, wasn't it?
Yeah, except for the fact that I have no idea how the over 3.5 field goals didn't cash last night. I mean, listen, you know what is so nuts about this game? I was going through the scoring. Cairo Santos missed that field goal that would have put the Bears up 20-6. That was the first play of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like, everything happened in the final 15 minutes for the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, I thought that, the pick 6 was a dagger, like coming out of halftime. But I am just so impressed with JJ McCarthy, with the way that he grounded himself.
The composure in the fourth quarter was impressive, buddy.
Like, I was with a couple Viking fans watching the game last night. And I think I might have been more excited than they were. Just in that I know what the gift of a quarterback can do for a team. I've been living the Mahomes dream since 2017. And I'm not sitting here telling you JJ McCarthy's the next incarnation of Patrick Mahomes. But I am telling you, for a rookie with that much pressure under the bright lights, to be able to bounce back from a start the way that he had was one of the most impressive things I've seen from a young man in his first NFL start in a long, long time. And to be honest, it wasn't as bad as it looked before. Like, you can talk about JJ McCarthy. I'm looking at Justin Jefferson. I'm looking at Adam Thielen. Like, you're trying to help out a rookie quarterback in his first start. Those were ugly drops.
There were some catchable balls there. Yep.
Sure-handed guys in the National Football League. So I actually was quite optimistic throughout the game as someone that had Minnesota on the money line that they'd be able to turn it around, because I felt that they had sort of let their quarterback down early in the game, and there would get to a point that it was time for them to pay them back. And, we got it. I thought he was absolutely nails in the fourth quarter. And listen, just from a big picture, I mean, I know the focus is on JJ and certainly Caleb Williams, but how about that Minnesota defense locking it down in the third and fourth quarters? Like, I thought Ben Johnson came out with a great plan. Caleb Williams looked absolutely devastating when his elusiveness is 10 out of 10. Now, unfortunately, he can evade for a while. It's what he does after that. He can run, and ran for a couple of huge plays, ran for the touchdown. But his command of that offense and his ability to accurately throw the ball to open receivers is still very much in question. And they got humbled a little bit in the second half by that Minnesota defense. If you're a Viking fan right now, you are so fired up, because let's face it, we know the rest of this team is good. The question is, can you win games with a rookie quarterback? And I will suggest that what we saw last night in the fourth quarter should give any Vikings fan a very positive outlook on this season and the future for the Purple.
We've got some fantasy questions rolling in. We will get to those. I was frustrated. We had the parlay yesterday, the early bird bet from the Nielsen shows, Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown, DeAndre Swift over 12.5 receiving yards. Gets 12 receiving yards in the first quarter of the ball game. Did not get a single yard the rest of the way. I even had some hope when they got the ball late, and I was like, oh, it's going to be some prevent defense. They're going to be a couple of checkdowns. Tried to get him once along the sidelines. Now, it did work out, because my play of the day yesterday was Swift over 2.5 catches, and he got that 10 minutes in. Jordan Mason ended up hitting the over on the rushing attempts as well. But that one stung. Like, I needed one more receiving yard from Swift for 3 quarters, Huss. And I couldn't get one. I'd said to Tam, we were watching the game during dinner, and I was already celebrating the 3 catches. I was like, boom, there's the 3 catches. And I get up and I'm watching my play, and I look back at her. I said, no, you know how it's going to work. And I said it to her. I called my shot. I said, he's not going to get another catch the rest of the game, and I'm going to lose by a yard. And she goes, oh, that's ridiculous. And I said, no, it's not. And then that ended up happening. And look, man, I'll say this. When you saw them move the ball in the first drive, they included DeAndre Swift in the passing game. Like, I thought they kind of exactly, and they went away from that for quite a bit the rest of the game. To me, that first drive was so impressive. I thought, man, mix that guy back in a little bit, selfishly for the bet, but in general for your offense. And they just never really got back to that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, those were basically just checkdowns when Caleb wasn't confident to throwing one of his receivers. I mean, but nicely done on the play of the day with the 3 catches. Unfortunately, that damn half yard.
That half yard just killed me. And I wasn't overly angry about it until Jefferson got the touchdown. Then I was like, damn it, Swift. Like, you got to be kidding me. Bronco Nick says, Dusty, he had a catch and a holding call negated it in the fourth quarter. So that sucks too. That sucks too. I was watching most of that game. I must have missed that. Might have been about bedtime for the kids.
How mad would you be if you had the under?
And then the fourth quarter goes the way the fourth quarter goes.
Yeah.
Oh, you would have been on a cruise control under. Like you would have been like, that's it. This is awesome. It's done.
Like it was 23 points through 3 quarters.
And what was that total at? 43 and a half?
43 and a half.
Yeah.
And the Vikings alone ended up covering the over. And then obviously Chicago got that late touchdown to pull it within 3. But yeah, I mean, listen, I know there's always overreactions to week 1.
Yeah.
And in some cases, I think that it is exactly that overreaction. I don't think there's any overreaction to what we saw last night. It takes a special level of athlete mentally, especially as young as JJ McCarthy is, to be able to stay positive, stay in the fight, and to do what he did with that game. And I am a sucker for the coaches post-game, video. I always love Andy Reid after the Chiefs wins, throws the game ball and does the how about those Chiefs. But for my money, I think KOC might be the best in the league at throwing out the game balls. And he gave everybody a game ball last night because, I mean, it really was everybody stepping up. But he finished it off with JJ McCarthy, who is a captain this year, voted on by his teammates, who then broke it down afterwards. I know it was a risky move moving on from Sammy Darts to go to a guy that had never played a game, but one game in, it looks like they have got a player. And I know Green Bay looked amazing. I know Detroit's really good, although they didn't look that good. I think we were right that the Chicago Bears are the 4th best team in that division.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think we know that Green Bay is a legit Super Bowl contender, but for everyone that was on the fence that need to see it from Minnesota, not just the quarterback performance in the fourth quarter, but everything else. Dude, how good did Jordan Mason look last night?
Yeah, Jordan Mason looked good, man. I kind of,
God.
Lots of good reports through training camp. Aaron Jones looked okay with his touch as well. Got him involved in the passing game a little bit, but Jordan Mason looked good. He looked really good. Like I feel really nicely about a bunch of leagues where I've got Jordan Mason just marinating on my bench right now. It's that's a good one. And actually that kind of brings us to we got a bunch of fantasy questions. So let's dive into them. Let's dive into a few of these. For example, Chris texts in. You can text us 780-218-9999. We got about 5 or 6 that we'll get to here, and I'm sure a few more will trickle in. Chris Sadaway says, Dusty, is there a sell high opportunity on Dobbins or Mason, or are these holds on my bench? So Mason, I mean, for me, Mason would be a hold on the bench. And J.K. Dobbins is an interesting one because in my big boy league, I got J.K. Dobbins really late. Like he's sitting on my bench. I didn't think they'd hand all the workload to a rookie that quickly. And it still might end up the RJ Harvey show, but I don't know if would you try to move Dobbins right now, Huss? Some people buy into that, or I would have. In fact, in that one league, I do have both these guys on my bench.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I watched a lot of that Denver Tennessee game.
Yep.
And I'm not in on Harvey.
No.
No. And I mean, listen, I know he had the 70 yards. He had a 50-yard run. And I mean, it was great blocking. It was brutal defense on Tennessee. He broke that play, but he's small. I just don't see him being any sort of a bell cow. Like, to be honest, based on what I saw in week 1, I think J.K. Dobbins has a more impactful role this year moving forward. Like, Harvey's going to get his, and it's not like Dobbins is going to be the guy that's getting 90% of the workload. Like, Harvey is fast, and he can, break a play or two, and I think they'll get him in. But I put it this way, if you're worried about the rookie just taking over the load from J.K. Dobbins and rendering him irrelevant.
Dobbins was a 900-yard, 9-touchdown back last year.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
Dobbins can play, man.
Well, and I mean, listen, RJ Harvey had 6 carries. Dobbins had 16. He had one, RJ Harvey had 1 catch for -1 yard. JK had 2. Like, I really see that being, like, I think he'll out snap or out touch Harvey Now, listen, it was 2-1 in the first game. Maybe that gets more like 3-2.
Yeah.
But I still think Dobbins is going to be the guy. He's a veteran. I think, with the amount of young players they have in there, I think they're going to be really counting on him. Harvey, as I said, he had that one electric play, and I do think that they're going to work him in and try and get him touches. But put it this way, I would be, if you're in a league where someone might be thinking that, I would jump on Dobbins if you can get him, because
that's a good point.
I know Harvey had 7 more yards, but again, it was one play, and look at the touches, look at who they're trusting with the football, especially in a game like that was close for the most part. I think Dobbins is going to be the guy. As far as Mason goes, listen, I think Mason is going to be very quickly the better option. Like if you had Aaron Jones and then pick Jordan Mason to make sure that you had your guy, I wouldn't be surprised if by week 3, you're more confident starting Jordan Mason than you are Aaron Jones. I mean, Jones's production was just off that big pass from JJ McCarthy, but the actual rushing last night, it was very clear who the more violent physical runner was, the guy that was getting more tough to take down, getting more yards after contact. It was Mason. If you pick Mason in your draft right now, whether you started him or not, you got to be very optimistic about what he'll be able to do if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I was just going to see what the split was last night for those two guys. So, yeah, Mason had 15 carries for 68 yards, 4.5 yards per carry. Jones had 8 carries for 23 yards, 2.9 yards per carry. Jones ended up leading the team in receiving yards with Jefferson at 44 and had the touchdown. But Mason did have a catch for 7 yards as well. So early in the season, we are seeing what many people thought would probably happen with Mason. So you'd be trying to buy Mason if you can right now, but most people probably will be hanging on to him. Here's an interesting question. We get one from Beef Nips over on the text line. And I don't know if Beef Nips... They must be. Beef Nips and Rip City Step are both, the question is the same one. It's not like worded the same, but the same situation. So I'm wondering if they're in a league, but it says, I'm in a guillotine league. Every week a team gets knocked out. Yeah. The players become available. That's right. How much of my $1,000 fab budget should I spend on Jamar Chase? First time doing one of these leagues. And Beef Nips in the chat says, 18 team. That's what you do. 18 team guillotine league. Jamar Chase, first chop team. How much of my $1,000 fab do I spend on it? So I like the idea of both these guys being in the same league, and we're just going to bid them up right now, basically. We were asked this morning, same question, but for Genty. He was on a team that got chopped this week, and I would really like to do a guillotine league, actually. I did one a few years back. I think I lasted like 6-7 weeks, but I was very new to it at the time, and I didn't jump in with the big budget early. And then it ended up backfiring on me. So do you play Guillotine League?
The Guillotine is literally the only form of fantasy that I have not been in, and I'm intrigued by it. And I'll tell you what, if someone had a league, I would have gone into it. And it's fascinating. And I mean, I'm sorry that I don't have more experience with this.
But like, are you using 20% of your budget, 25% early? Like the one guy this morning said his running backs suck. So he really wanted Genty. And I was like, well, then what do you, like, of $1,000 budget, are you using like 200 this early in the season to try to get this guy, or what?
I would think it would be like 400 or 500.
Okay, so you're thinking like 40%, 50% of the budget.
I think if you're going to get
those are big guys. Like that,
like I would do me a favor, Rip City Step. Let us know tomorrow
what he goes for.
Like whether you get him or not. I would love to know how aggressive someone will be, because listen, I mean, that's the number 1 player overall preseason in fantasy. He probably was. I mean, if it was just a redraft thing, he probably was the first pick.
I just looked online, and I saw one thing that says a guy like Chase will generally command like 50% of the budget early in a season like this. So
okay, so pretty on that. You know, like around 500 if you're that. Like, put it this way. I mean, if you get him and you're left with 500, but you have Jamar Chase, I think you're in pretty damn good shape. And again, if you get whacked, I mean, you can't get back in. So, you improve your team right now for the present, for the future. My prediction is that Chase goes for more than half the budget. If it's over under 50%, I'm saying here right now in that league, someone's paying more than $500 for Jamar Chase. And Jonty, if it's in the same league or a different league, could be the same thing.
Lock shop guillotine league next year. Why not?
Yes.
I mean, that would be a good idea. We get 16 other people and dive into it. Beef Nip says that on the Sleeper app, it's recommending $480 to $700 of the $1,000 budget will be required to get your hands on Jamar Chase.
So yeah, it's going to be more than half the budget for a player like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Genty, depending on who else is available, but especially if your running backs suck and Genty's out there, I mean, I think you got to hold your nose and just jump on it and try and make it happen.
All right, a couple more quick ones on fantasy. Then we'll take an early look ahead here to week 2 line. Spency 5 cents. You guys, who would you start this week? Baker Mayfield versus the Texans. Justin Herbert versus the Raiders. What do you think, Huss? Mayfield or Herbert?
Well, listen, I mean, if you want to base it on their first games, it's Herbert.
It's hard not to look at Herbert there, right?
Herbert was phenomenal in that game against the Chiefs on Friday night. Maybe the best I've ever seen him play. And he's got the Raiders coming up. Now, I mean, listen, the Raiders, I'm sure, are going to be a mid team. I mean, competitive. They got their win last week. But the Texans, Baker against the Texans, that's a really good defense. I mean, their offense didn't do anything, but they did hold the Rams to 14 points overall.
Yeah.
So I think but without much hesitation, I think I'll lean Herbert over Baker.
Yeah, Spency, I think that would be the case. Somebody else was saying that they've got both A.J. Brown. Here we are. Colin Ellersley says, I have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Time to stress. Do I trade one of these guys? They screwed me in week 1. I very rarely would have 2 receivers from the same team. You know, it's especially an offense that is not pass heavy. I mean, if you had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, maybe I can understand it a little bit more than A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But I mean, I would certainly shop around to see if you can flip one of them for a similar. You're not going to get a great deal after week 1, but a similar valued receiver on a different team. Does that not make the most sense?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you might have some other options. I mean, listen, you spent a high pick on A.J. Brown, probably in round 2. This is not the time to trade him after a no-show in week number 1. I'm hoping he doesn't do anything in week 2 against the Chiefs, but I guess we'll see. But obviously that would be a sell very, very low. So I think you got to keep A.J. Brown in and just ride him. But I'm with you. Like, I don't like to have 2 receivers on the same team unless it is 2 stars. And I think Cincinnati's pretty much the only scenario that you might even be able to do that. I'm the same way with my receivers and running backs, to be honest. I don't really like to double them up, with the exception of Chase and Chase Brown in Cincinnati. I mean, I think, listen, they didn't look very good. I know I called them not a serious team yesterday, but they're going to get theirs offensively, you would think. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of options right now, but I think you have to look at, I mean, if you've got a Smith, I mean, if he can just be your extra receiver or potentially a flex, I guess if you need him, you can throw him in there. But to me, I think you keep A.J. Brown, and if you do have a taker for Devonta Smith, even to shake it up, I mean, receiver for receiver, if it's a deal that you like, I think you can make that happen, because there won't be too many games where both of those guys are going to pop. So I think you do have to sort of choose one.
All right, good questions. We'll do this every Tuesday. As far as some waiver wire targets go, Huss, I want your thoughts on this. Would you have Hollywood Brown as the number 1 waiver wire receiver to go get for the next month or so? What do you have, 16 targets, 10 catches? What is Worthy listed as day-to-day?
Yeah, were these listed as day to day?
Quentin Johnson's another one. He had 2 touchdowns, but I mean, how many 2 touchdown games is he going to get? But he looked better, and he was building off it a little bit last year. Keenan Allen is like available in 40% of leagues as well. I got some running backs as well, but I'm curious on your thoughts on Hollywood.
Well, listen, I think Hollywood Brown will be a lot more impactful in the next 6 weeks while Rashee Rice is out than he will afterwards. I think what we saw is just how the lack of depth in the Chiefs wide receiver room. Now, their rookie Jalen Royals had a knee injury. He couldn't play. But, I mean, when poor Pat's out there picking between Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown, it's listen, it was a tough scene for the for the team. So bottom line is I do think Hollywood is going to have a pretty prominent role over the next few weeks, but I think I take Quentin Johnson over him in that I think Johnson's got the potential to be a go-to guy all season long. And I'll tell you what, if Keenan Allen is on your waiver wire, again, this is a single, like a 1-year redraft league. I took Keenan Allen pretty late in a number of drafts, and I think it's going to end up being a huge value pick this year because Herbert knows him. I mean, there's no other real alphas in that wide receiver room at all. So I think it didn't take long for him to connect back up with Keenan, be comfortable throwing to him. So listen, I'm high. Listen, I saw what Justin Herbert did to my team in week number 1. I think those Charger receivers are very live to be pretty consistently good throughout the year. I mean, Keenan Allen, like it's just, I guess it's a matter of when he gets hurt. But if he's starting and he's playing, he's going to see 6 to 8 targets a game and probably catch most of them. So I do like those guys. Hollywood Brown, short term. And listen, if Worthy's able to go, his stock takes a significant drop. I think the safer plays, if you're going one or the other, is one of those receivers on the Chargers.
All right, couple of running backs to look at. Sampson in Cleveland, heavily involved in the passing game. They have signed Judkins, so you do have to worry about that. They still have Jerome Ford kicking around, but I did see a lot of Sampson popping up. Charbonnet's an interesting one in Seattle as well, Huss. I mean, in most 12-team leagues, Charbonnet's already on a bench somewhere. In a 10-team league, I would think he's probably on a bench somewhere as well, depending on the depth of your bench. But he had 12 carries. Walker only had 10. And Walker's maybe they're working back in here from his injury a little bit. It's certainly not a league winner coming out of week 1, but some interesting value there in that Seahawks backfield.
Listen, I look at that Seahawks backfield like I look at the Vikings backfield. The guy I want is the guy that came into the season as number 2. I want Jordan Mason. I want Zach Charbonnet. I mean, for Charbonnet to have more carries in week 1 than Kenneth Walker, I think tells you all you need to know about where this is going. He had a great preseason. He looked good at the end of the year. And Walker has had his issues. Now, I mean, I'm sure they'll both get opportunities. But for the cost, bottom line is if Zach Charbonnet is available on any waiver wire, bid him and try to get him on your team. He will definitely be worth a roster spot, whether you're in a 10 or whether you're in a 12-team league or more. Just
looking at the splits in that Seattle game, and I noticed the receivers. JSN was targeted 13 times. 4 other players combined to be targeted 9 times. That is over a 50% target share in that game for Jackson Smith-Njigba, which is pretty big.
That game?
I did not watch it. I didn't watch the fourth quarter of that game, no.
Okay, so Seattle... And this happened all last year as well. When they get into the 2-minute offense, everything goes to JSN. There was a series where they were actually moving the ball quite well. But again, it was inside the 2-minute warning. I can't remember which half it was, where a minimum of 4 straight passes went to JSN. Like, it's almost like even Darnold has just showed up. It's his first game there, is doing exactly what Geno Smith did before. Look for 11 and throw it to him. And more often than not, he's going to catch it. Like, he doesn't have those, like, he's not going to have the explosive 40, 50-yard plays and the touchdowns. But my God, if you're in a PPR league, JSN JSN might be the Jalen Hurts of receivers, where the floor is
great floor, yeah,
really, really high. Like he's always going to be there and he'll be consistent.
Tight end, as far as waiver wire goes, and some of you are going to need one. George Kittle has been placed on the injured reserve. He will miss the next 4 games for the Niners. I saw that come down this morning. Jake Tungus, I believe, is the guy who will step up at tight end in San Francisco if you want to do that. I don't know how many of you at my big boy league, there was a lot of buzz around Harold Fanning Jr., and he ended up getting selected. Fanning's an interesting one because he's a bit of a cheat code because they have Njoku, but they were lining Fanning up at the 3 wide receiver spot multiple times. Ends up getting targeted 9 times, 7 catches, 63 yards, probably available in quite a few of your leagues right now. Jawan Johnson had a big week 1. He's probably available at the tight end position as well, Huss. But Fanning's very intriguing to me. In that spite league I'm in, we go really, really, really deep. So he was selected in that one. And then the big boy league, one guy was just like the guy who waited on tight end. He goes, I'm just going to wait on tight end. And there's that guy who in the draft is like, I got my guy. He even told us who it was. I thought about sniping him when I took Kyle Pitts around ahead because we both waited on a tight end. But I was like, man, this is a guy I like. I'm like, that'd be a real dick move to do that. So, but he just went up, final pick, took Fanning, and he's walking tall today. Like he's just like, look at me. I knew what was up. So Fanning's a guy that I would look at the tight end position on the waiver wire too.
Yeah, like I'm just pulling up my 12-team redraft no keeper league.
Okay, so a basic league, right?
Yeah, just a basic league, and he's gone. Darren Waller obviously is available. I'm not touching anything from that Miami.
I don't love that
right now. The top guy on the list who did nothing last week was Cade Otton. You got Freiermuth from Pittsburgh who had 5. But yeah, Jawan Johnson. And I mean, again, I don't know how invested you want to get in on the Saints offense.
Yeah, not necessarily very much.
But here's the thing: is for a tight end with Rat as the quarterback, I mean, it's pretty. I think it's pretty clear that he's going to be seeing a ton of action. Like this could be one of those situations on a bad team where a guy's basically the safety blanket for a quarterback that doesn't have much else going on and could potentially just eat up targets throughout the year. He was the number 1 tight end in the first week. So I would jump on him. It just to show you how people are feeling about New Orleans overall. He's there, but in this league, the number 1 free agent, someone that just nobody wanted a piece of because of what I was just saying, Chris Olave.
What? And
Olave,
I was starting Olave in Spite League this week.
Yeah, I mean, a big league, but yeah, people were just out of it. I mean, he'll get picked up, I'm sure, this week now that they showed that, I guess they could at least get him the ball at some point.
I also don't hate Cedric Tillman. If you can find Tillman on your waiver wire, like I'm looking at my Wandering Cone Football League, and Tillman's available in there, probably be a guy that I'll put a claim in on.
Yeah, definitely. If he's available, jump on him. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there. There's not really any, as I said, I'm just looking at this one list. Here's a guy that might be available that I think actually, especially if you're in a league where you can keep guys, or there's if you have rookies, you get a rookie keeper, that Isaac Tesla.
Yeah, I got him. He's a Lion. I got him in a couple leagues. Homer pick.
That catch that he made?
Phenomenal catch. Probably the catch of the week.
That's the highlight of the Detroit game for Detroit. I mean, everything else is pretty miserable, but that guy made a crazy play. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets involved a little bit more moving forward. But it's weird. Like for a week 1, I can't remember the last time there wasn't a clear cut, oh my God, this guy's the starter or whatever.
Spend all of your regular fab on him. Like, yeah, you're right.
I can't make an argument for a massive, massive dump of your fab budget on any obvious number 1 guy. Like, to be honest, I think it's probably different from league to league because, okay, Olave is available in this league, but no one else. There's Olave and Hollywood Brown. I mean, there may be a guy that slipped through the cracks, a backup running back that looked really good this week that, could be in other leagues. But as I say, like, there's no massive injury that all of a sudden changes a depth chart significantly. So I think you got to just look and kind of pick and choose if there are players that you think that can help you. If not, save your budget. You don't have to unload it all in the first week to get that guy if the guy isn't there.
All right, it is the Lock Shop. It's Nielsen and Huss. You can text us anytime at 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. If you have any questions or any best bets for the week, you can slide in there as well. Huss, just quickly looking ahead, and we'll obviously dive into week 2 as we work our way through this. I'm going to just give you the lines, and you tell me 1 or 2 games that you think, okay, maybe get on that now because it's going to move, okay? That's it.
Hey, hold on a sec. Just before we move off from this, Dustin Nielson hit this up. I meant to get to this. Asking about the Pittsburgh backfield.
Yes.
Asking, is Jaylen Warren the guy in Pittsburgh? Who do you think that will get the majority of the snaps, Jaylen Warren or Caleb Johnson? Definitely Jaylen Warren. Like, just pulling up that game from the weekend, Caleb Johnson did not do much. Now, again, he's a rookie. It's his first game. So
but Kenneth Gainwell was involved. That's the problem.
That's where I was getting into.
Yes.
Like, Jaylen Warren is absolutely going to be the 1A if you're going 1A, 1B. Like, I don't think he's going to turn into a bell cow or anything like that. But he can catch some passes and did actually catch a touchdown. And he led them with 11 carries for 37 yards. Had the best average of anyone on the team. Gainwell had 7 carries for only 19 yards. He seems to be sort of a more third down back. He did have 3 catches, albeit only for 4 yards. I think in the running game, Jaylen Warren will be the most reliable player. I think Gainwell is going to pop in. And listen, we'll see what happens with Caleb Johnson. I think his touches will go up as we go forward. But, I mean, there's only one way to go with up. He had 1 carry in the first time. Like, I'm not envisioning him getting more than 4 or 5 in the next little while. And I think Jaylen Warren's a pretty reliable guy. They just signed him to a 2-year extension. So
yeah, they like Jaylen Warren, man.
Warren is the guy that I want in my backfield. I actually just traded for him going into last week on a team where I did not have any running back.
What'd you give up? I'm curious.
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, yeah, and I gave up Javonte Williams to get Calvin Ridley. So Calvin Ridley's like the old running back swing. Yeah, if you need to.
He's definitely a guy that you can start. And it was funny. I mean, just for what it's worth, on the ESPN app, we made that trade. Like, I had no running backs. He had no receivers. So it made a lot of sense for the two teams to do business together.
Yeah.
But when they did the comparison of it, I guess they give a ranking to each
They do.
player.
Yeah.
It was 81-81.
Like, no way.
It was a push. So it was nice. I mean, it was one of those trades that makes sense for both teams. But listen, do I think Jaylen Warren's going to be a league winner for anyone? Well, I hope so. I've got a few pieces of him, but no. But listen, I think he'll be a very valuable RB2, RB3 flex player if you don't have depth at the running back position. And it certainly seems like, it's not easy to be able to count on guys that are going to be getting the ball 15 plus times a game. Like, that's what you want. And he's right on the edge, I think, there. Caleb Johnson, injuries could change everything. But right now, I think this is going to be a Jaylen Warren and Aaron Rodgers led offense. And I think he'll probably be more for the future.
Do want to hit on some CFL stuff, but let's quickly dive in to the National Football League hustle. Like I said, I'll give you these lines. You let me know if there's 1 or 2 that you would suggest hitting on a Tuesday before it moves. Commanders are in Green Bay on the Thursday nighter. Fun game. Can't wait to watch that one. Commanders are 4-point dogs on the road. So Green Bay is a 4-point favorite there. Dallas is at home against the Giants. Dallas is a 6-point favorite. The Bengals are at home against the Jags. Bengals right now -3.5. The Ravens and the Browns are going to meet in Baltimore. Ravens right now 11-point favorites. The Lions are 5.5-point favorites at home against the Bears. Dolphins a 1.5-point favorite at home against New England in a divisional game. The Rams are a favorite on the road by 5.5 against the Titans. The Steelers are 3-point home favorites against the Seahawks. Niners, 4.5-point favorites on the road against the Saints. The Bills are 6.5-point favorites going into New York to to face Justin Fields and the Jets. The Cards at home against Bryce Young and the Panthers. Panthers coming off a disappointing first week effort against Jacksonville. The Cards are -6.5. They were also a big favorite in week 1 against the Saints and covered. Denver -1.5 on the road going in to Indy. The Eagles are 1-point favorites against the Chiefs. The Vikings are 4.5-point home favorites against the Falcons. And then the Texans and the Bucks. Texans are -2.5 at home against the Bucks, and the Chargers -3.5 against the Raiders. That's a Monday Night Football doubleheader with the Bucks and the Texans, Chargers and the Raiders.
Yes.
1 or 2 games you want to move on quickly?
Well, I mean, to be honest, there's nothing that has me running to the gate to slam down. I am intrigued about this Thursday nighter, and we'll be talking about that over the next couple of days with the Packers laying 3.5 at home to the Commanders. I was very impressed with what Green Bay did in week 1. I find it interesting that Cowboys are 5.5-point favorites, but I guess I get it. I mean, they did go toe-to-toe with Philly, albeit without Jalen Carter. And if CeeDee Lamb had a little bit more stickum on his hands, maybe they win that game. I'm not sure this maybe isn't an overreaction to just how bad Russ was, but he's starting again this week. So that's why the line is. The Patriots-Dolphins line is fascinating to me. I mean, I watched a lot of that Colts-Dolphins game. They were terrible. They got absolutely run all over by the Colts. I know New England lost.
And Drake May apparently didn't look very good in that football game.
He didn't. I didn't watch a ton of that one. That was, well, there were 7 games different going on, but I don't know. I mean, I guess laying points while you're getting 1.5, but I mean, it's close to a pick 'em. I don't think there's very good things happening, and I really want Miami to lose so they can just hurry up and trade the Chiefs Tyreek Hill again. Because if we could just get that going a little quicker, it would be nice. Steelers is 3-point favorites against the Seahawks is interesting. That essentially calls a pick 'em or
they're giving them the home 3 there. Yep.
I do like what Pittsburgh did offensively. I'm a little rattled by what their defense did and didn't do, but I have a feeling that gets better. And then the team that I love coming out of week 1 was the Colts, but man, they've got a tough spot. It's interesting to see them just a 1.5-point home dog. Like before last week, what do we think that number would have been?
Over on the other side of 3 for sure. Like easy. Yeah, maybe as high. And those numbers would have been out. We probably could have seen.
I'm trying to juggle what I saw last week and what we can actually take from that. And at the same time, not completely changing our opinions on any team that didn't have a great game in week 1, knowing that all of that's going to be heavily tagged into these numbers. Chiefs a slight dog at Arrowhead. I love that. Just, we know what Mahomes' record is as an underdog. And then the Vikings, the Vikings at -4.5 against Atlanta. Like going back home Sunday night after doing what they did in the fourth quarter, they could be a really dangerous team. Now, Atlanta does have the firepower to, put up some points, but to be honest, they didn't look great. Michael Penix didn't look particularly great against the Bucs defense. And I think they're moving up a weight class going up against Minnesota. So I'm not sure that number goes down at all. I might be in on Minnesota at -4.5. And tell you what, Tampa as an underdog in Houston is pretty intriguing to me as well. Houston's defense is good.
Their offense did nothing last week.
They don't have much of a running game. It's CJ Stroud. And when everyone seems to know that Nico Collins is getting all the balls, and that has become problematic for the Texans. So I think if I'm looking for an underdog right off the bat, I think I might touch on the plus around 125 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road against Houston. What about you?
Sorry, I'd flipped over to the CFL because we have a few different movements there. Let me just pop back over here. I mean, the Giants-Cowboys game is an interesting one to talk about a little bit of the overreaction from that one. I'm curious to see where that one settles in. I'd probably end up moving the Bengals on the other side of a field goal. They're 3.5 right now, but they're going to be at home against Jacksonville. I think I probably like that situation for the Bengals offense pretty big. The one that kind of intrigues me a bit, just because Baltimore, Cleveland, 11? Huss, do you think that stays around 11, or does that move? Like 11's a big number. It's week 2. I get it's the Ravens and it's the Browns, game. But it's a divisional game and it's 11. I think I have to be on it at 11 just because divisional game.
I mean, Cleveland, I guess they are 1-0 against the spread. Good teams win, great teams cover. They did do that.
How good are the Bengals? I don't know, but the Bengals aren't an awful football team.
Well, no, and this is the thing. Their offense is legit. I mean, the fact that Cleveland shut them down the way they did has got to give you some options. But Baltimore is so different. Like,
they beat you in a different way.
Run down your throat, get Lamar going. And here's the other thing that really scares me about Cleveland in this spot. The Ravens are going to be so pissed off after what happened on Sunday night.
That is true, too. Just pedal to the metal, hey?
And leave it to the Browns to be in the wrong place at the wrong time against that offense. Something tells me, and this is the thing, like normally you say, big number, maybe you can get a backdoor cover. I think the Ravens keep the foot on the gas right until the end. This is a terrible spot for Cleveland the more I'm talking about this.
I still am going to have to be talked out of the 11, I think, but we'll get into that a little bit.
It's a massive number.
Yeah, it's a huge number, but you make a good point on a pissed off Ravens team. Like, they're not falling to 0-2 here. So they could end up rolling over them.
If they can get up by 16 against the Bills, what should they be able to do?
That's a good point.
At home, angry against Cleveland. I mean, as they say, this is Cleveland just can't catch a break. Let's wait over to the CFL before we let you go, because we've got some movement here. The Bombers are now 7.5-point dogs going into Hamilton. Zach Collaros in sweatpants at practice today. BC, Ottawa is now inside 10 at 9.5. Edmonton, this is interesting. Edmonton was at 4 yesterday, 4-point dogs. This morning on the Nielson show, it was 3.5. Now it's back up to 4.5. It's on the other side of 4 now. So I like the Elks at the plus 4.5. I didn't see a report on Kelly Arbuckle or whatever today. And then MBT has been taken off the 6 game. He's expected to start for the Alouettes. It only moved the line from 8 to 7.5. But just any thoughts on the movement that we saw there? Put it this way, if it's going down in the Montreal Sask game, I would jump on it now. I think if it's not Davis Alexander, it's a long night for the Alouettes. And not surprised that line has moved. I saw earlier 5.5, 6, talking about the Bombers on the other side of 7.
Yeah.
That is a lot. And listen, the BC, I think we could say what I just said about Ottawa. We could say the same thing about the Cleveland Browns. This might be the wrong place, wrong time for Ottawa getting in front of an angry BC team, although they can't stop anyone, as we saw against Ottawa last week. So maybe that's crazy to drop them. But favorite pick right now for sure is Edmonton. I think this is going to be a close game regardless of who starts. And I also, for the record, think Ryan Dinwiddie is insane if he goes to Chad Kelly as opposed to what Arbuckle's been doing.
I was on 1050 this morning with Krolnick and Koliakovo. And we were talking CFL briefly, and they said, do the Elks want to see Chad Kelly or Nick Arbuckle at quarterback? And I was like, the Elks would very much like to see Chad Kelly, having not played in a year at quarterback. Like, what are we even talking about here? I think Toronto has this vision of like, oh my God, it's Chad Kelly. Nick Arbuckle has been arguably the best quarterback in the league so far this year. Like
his last 2 games and these 2 wins.
Yeah.
Just about 800 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks. I mean,
what are we doing?
What more do you have to do to keep a job?
I don't know, but we'll see that. What's coming up in WST, buddy?
We got lots. Actually, Lapo's joining us. We'll talk a little CFL. And
we had his quarterback on this morning, buddy, Michael O'Connor.
We talked to him. He's going to be coming on the show tomorrow. Really cool stuff. Connor's out checking out what's going on in and around the Jet skate. Mike McIntyre's back. Bombing's going to be joining us after Mike O'Shea speaks today with a little more clarity on Zach. So a lot of Bombers, a lot of football, and of course we'll get to that Vikings game. A lot of fired up Vike fans around Southern Manitoba right now.
Good stuff, Huss. Appreciate the time, buddy. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Have a good one, gang. Go Jays.
There you go. Winnipeg Sports Talk is coming up right away over on the WST channel. You heard Huss saying there, go Jays. And if you want to, it's just a busy show today with this fantasy stuff, waiver wire stuff, Monday Night Football recap. Would have loved to spend a little bit more time on some of that CFL movement. But if you are looking to get on the Jays, we do have that EST boosted early bird special for you. That is sitting over on the Play Alberta EST specials page. If you've not yet downloaded the Play Alberta app, just download it quickly. When you open it up, you will see EST specials. You click on that. Sometimes we have 6 or 7 in there. Right now, we just have one for this Jays game tonight, and that is the Blue Jays to win and George Springer to have a hit, at least one. It is plus 145. So Jays to win, Jodzi with a hit, plus 145. It's always worth popping over, checking out some of the other daily specials that you can find under the quick links at Play Alberta as well. And there's some odds boosts that are always kicking around as well. Blue Jays, Yankees, and Mets all to win today, plus 510. That was boosted from plus 467. Colorado Rockies to score the first run. Shohei to hit a bomb in the game, plus 480. 10 total runs scored, and the Red Sox to win, plus 270 in the A's Red Sox. So there's a ton of different. Oh, we've already got some Thursday nighters too. Let me hit these Thursday night specials. These are odds boosts. Jaden Daniels to record 46 plus rushing yards, but Packers to win by 5 or more. That's 3-1. Commanders to win the first quarter and a Tucker Kraft touchdown, plus 790. And Jordan Love to record an interception with the game having 50 or more points scored, plus 310. So yeah, click on the odds boost. Check it out. There's always something fun going on over there at Play Alberta. And if you've not yet downloaded the app, you can do that. It's new and improved. And then they've got improved odds for all major North American leagues this year as well, including the National Football League. I'm interested to see what some of the numbers are they'll have for the National Hockey League when we get there in about a month. That's going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Thank you very much for joining us. Best of luck if you're riding with us on the Jays tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.